You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. R. Kelly is a name that still dominates the music industry even at a time when his music is supposedly muted. He is synonymous with groundbreaking R&B hits even now that we hear echoes of his name in courtrooms and media debates about him. But is there more to his story than what's been presented? Selective prosecution featuring the deliberate targeting of an individual may be the key to overturning his conviction. Let's dive into this controversial issue and analyze the possibility. Selective prosecution isn't just a legal term. It's a serious allegation that strikes at the heart of justice. It occurs when a person is unfairly singled out for prosecution based on factors like race, fame or public perception rather than the merits of the case against him. Looking at R. Kelly's situation, there is no doubt that he's been targeted in ways other accused individuals haven't been. Let's explore the evidence and implications. To understand this argument better, we ought to first look at the context. R. Kelly's legal troubles span decades, with the first accusations surfacing as early as the 1990s. While the allegations are serious and deserve scrutiny, it's worth asking, why has R. Kelly, among all high-profile entertainers living a similar lifestyle, been the focal point of such an aggressive legal campaign? Consider this: other high-profile figures in the entertainment industry have faced similar allegations but haven't encountered the same level of prosecutorial intensity. In fact, none has been investigated a lot like R. Kelly, who now leads as the most investigated person in this country. And why has R. Kelly faced back-to-back trials and multi-state charges when others haven't? Is it truly about justice, or is there an element of making an example out of him which is illegal practice that could easily turn prejudicial? The media frenzy around R. Kelly's case has been the most intense seen in all history. Documentaries like Surviving R. Kelly that painted a vivid and damning picture of him were also new, and they certainly influenced public opinion. In fact, prosecutors aware of the heightened scrutiny may have felt pressured to act decisively against him to satisfy public demands, potentially compromising the fairness of the proceedings. The energy spillover was just so intense and way overboard. Meanwhile, it's important to remember that selective prosecution doesn't only harm the accused, it undermines the credibility of the entire justice system. In R. Kelly's case, certain red flags have raised serious questions. For example, there is cause to wonder whether similar cases involving other individuals were given the same level of resources and attention, and whether the decisions made against R. Kelly were driven by evidence or by a desire to appease societal outrage. These are all important questions that demand clear answers. Under the U.S. law, selective prosecution violates the Constitution. The Equal Protection Clause guarantees that every individual is treated fairly and equally under the law, something we did not see with the way government and the Department of Justice treated R. Kelly. In fact, the act of selective prosecution is a violation of the 14th Amendment guarantee of equal protection under the law. And the Supreme Court has ruled that selective prosecution is unconstitutional when it's based on an unjustifiable standard such as race, religion or other arbitrary classifications among people. To prove selective prosecution, the defense must show two things: that other defendants similarly situated were not prosecuted or were acquitted, and that the decision to prosecute was based on an arbitrary or unjust factors such as race or public perception. R. Kelly's case in fact ticks all boxes and does qualify as a case of selective prosecution, and therefore a violation of the 14th Amendment law of equal protection. When we compare R. Kelly's case to others related, patterns do emerge. Why are certain accused individuals, some with equally serious allegations, able to settle out of court or avoid prosecution altogether? Is it a coincidence? Or is there something deeper at play? In fact, there is a whole video currently streaming on YouTube that shows Supreme judges arguing prejudice, and dismissing a case under similar circumstances as R. Kelly's because the government presented an excess of witnesses that made uncharged claims against the defendant. R. Kelly's situation is not any different from this, as we saw around 45 prosecution witnesses take the stand in New York, and present completely uncharged misdemeanors against R. Kelly meant to prejudice him. Worse still, Some of them were found to have lied about so many things, including their ages. R. Kelly's defense team argues that his fame, wealth and the public nature of his case made him an easy target for prosecutors seeking to make headlines, and they are accurate in this regard. R. Kelly himself has in fact spoken out from prison several times about feeling targeted. And while some dismiss his claims as deflection, the concept of selective prosecution forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about fairness and consistency in the justice system. Is he being prosecuted for his actions or for who he is? Many of R. Kelly's supporters in fact do believe he's a victim of a larger societal narrative. They argue that his race, celebrity status and the climate of the Me Too movement have created a perfect storm for prosecutorial overreach against him. While accountability for wrongdoing is essential, the principle of equal treatment under the law must also be upheld at all times. It's important to note that our argument is not about excusing anyone who may have committed crimes, if any, and it's not focused on R. Kelly as an individual. It's rather about ensuring justice is applied fairly, which is crucial for the people to trust and believe in the justice system. Selective prosecution sets a dangerous precedent. And if we allow the justice system to disproportionately target certain individuals, it opens the door for bias and abuse in future cases. For as long as he is still locked up in prison due to a wrongful conviction, we all agree to, R. Kelly's case is far from over. The New York appeal deliberations are still ongoing with what appears to be an intentional delay, and the question of selective prosecution looms large. If his legal team can prove that he was unfairly singled out, which they certainly can, his conviction could be overturned, reshaping not only his future, but also the broader conversation about justice and equality. What do you think? In your opinion, is R. Kelly a victim of selective prosecution? Are the charges against him justified? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And let's keep the conversation going until justice is served. If you want to be featured in our video releases, send us your clips by emailing them to hnnewsroom242@gmail.com or use Google Drive for larger files. Be sure to include your name and any details you'd like us to know. We can't wait to showcase your contributions. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.